What we got here, we got a dent in the top of this fender. Now, in this area right here, which I don't have cleaned up yet for body work, we can go ahead and visualize that this had a bunch of holes on here where they used a slide hammer. If you look real close right here, you're going to see all these little holes that I welded up on it. So what happened here, let me go ahead and give you the scenario of the accident. The car either got hit in this area right here, okay, this area right here, it either got hit in that area or it ran into something and wrecked. Either way, it crushed this whole section of this fender. By doing that, by getting hit this way, it buckled this up, so this section of the fender is actually higher. It kind of ballooned it, if you get the drift. So what we got to do is we got to shrink this back down to the right contour, which is basically back here. And we got to shrink this down. So the first thing I'm going to do, and you can see I've already measured it out. And I measured out to where the dent was, and I put a piece of tape there for a marker. And if you look right here, I did the exact same thing. So this distance here is the same as the other distance. The bodywork's already been done on this fender, and it is very precise. So we know that this contour on the top of this fender is properly repaired, and it has the right contour that we want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this tool right here. All right, this is basically a contour finder, and what I'll do is I'm going to put it on top of the tape, and I'm going to go ahead and push it down until I get the contour that I want on this fender. And I want to make sure that I get it all the way down. And then what we got here, we got the contour of this fender. Let's go over to the other fender and let's see what happens. So if we take our contour tool, we can see that it's almost exactly the same, but in this area right here, it's higher. So what we're going to do is we will now take our contour tool, and instead of doing that side, we're going to go ahead and do the same thing on this side. I'm going to go ahead and do that one more time. Because I want to make sure that I get the right contour exactly. And then we'll go over there with this and see what we end up with on the fender that we need to repair. So if we take our guide, of course we're going to have to turn it this way because this was the outside of that fender. We're going to go ahead and see what this says. And if you look at it, okay, you can see a gap there, but as we come in closer, you can see where this is a high ridge and everything is lower. All right, look at the light shining through right there on both sides, and it shows that this ridge right here is higher. It's not dented on the inside here. That's telling us that this area right here has raised up. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this tape right here. And then we're going to keep this, all right, this is our contour from our other fender. We're going to keep that right here because that's the contour that we need in this area. Now remember, this is high in this area right here, so what we're going to do, we're going to use a shrinking disc. Now this is a mini shrinking disc, and you can either use it like this right here if you know how to use it, or you can use an adapter, a 3/8 adapter that will bring it out. we're going to go ahead and use it like this because I very rarely ever use this. But we're going to use a shrinking disc to shrink this back down into this high spot, this bubble that we have right here. We're going to shrink that back down by using this. So the first thing you want to do is make sure that you have a small bucket of water with a wet sponge. We're going to set our sponge right there because we're going to need that. We're also going to be wearing safety glasses on this. So what we'll do is we're going to find our area, and we're going to take our shrinking disc, which is made out of a high tensile stainless steel. All right, this is a high tensile stainless steel. And what that shrinking disc is going to do is that's going to heat this metal up. It's going to heat it up to stretch it. What we're going to do to shrink it back down, we're going to take our wet rag, we'll rub across it, and it should shrink it back into place. Now remember, we have our contour right here. This is the contour we want. And if you also remember, you saw that there was an air gap between here and over here. So the area of question is right here. What I'm going to do is I'm taking my sponge and I'm cooling that down. So what's happening is the shrinking disc is heating that up, and then once we take our rag or our sponge, we cool it down and it'll shrink it back down into place. Watch close, you'll see how hot it is. And it's starting to feel like the hump that we had is almost gone. We're going to go ahead and do it one more time. All right, so now what we'll do, we'll go ahead and take our contour tool, which is right here. It's got the same contour as that fender on the other side, and then we're going to go ahead and check it out and see what we got. All right, if you look now, you can see that we have a gap that literally goes all the way around, whereas before, this was actually on top of this. All right. Now keep in mind that this is wrecked. Okay, this is a wrecked item, but this was our high spot right here, and it's showing that it's a little bit high in this area here. So what we'll do is we'll take our shrinking disc and we're going to heat this area up right here. And now what we'll do, we'll go ahead and take our contour tool and we'll go ahead and stick it on here. And you can see by using the contour tool and, all right, we have shrunken that down to a satisfactory size where we can actually do the body work and we don't have to worry about high spots. One more last thing that I want to do to this fender to ensure that we got the crown the proper way, this way and that way. I want to go ahead and take my metal file and I'm going to file this down. Just like that. And then we're going to go ahead and check our contour one more time. And now, by just filing it down, I can see that the crown is gone and we're ready to go ahead and finish out our body work. I'd like to say one thing about these, and I want to show you, very important. I got my finger caught on the edge of this. You see that I'm wearing safety glasses. We should be wearing gloves as well. This is a very dangerous tool. It can hurt you. You can see what happened to my finger. Let's remember safety. One more thing is they make an adapter for this. I don't have the adapter because I very rarely ever use this. I usually use the big one. And I got to get my adapter. What the adapter does, it actually brings it away from the handle so you can have hand clearance and you can see how close that is. And also, your stud won't stick out. This is Pete, my friend Pete, your friend Pete, giving you basics on using a shrinking disc and a metal file. This is now ready for body work. I think it's going to look really, really nice. I think it came out awesome. And I can feel now that it flows in to the front. And it's lower in here, so that means that we got to put filler in there. We also got a little bit of body work, a little hammer and dolling to do right here in this area. That's another day, another story. But always remember, if you want to get those high spots down properly, use a shrinking disc. Shrinking discs are very, very good to have. They're handy items. But one more thing about them, they're kind of expensive. So they last a long time and they're well worth owning. I actually bought a kit of 2 of these, which was the big one, which is a 10-inch disc, and then the small 5 or 6-inch one. And it's called Pro Shaper Tools at proshaper.com. All right, this guy, he's very, very knowledgeable. His name is Ray Schillens. Ray Schillens. Very, very knowledgeable guy, very, very nice guy. And hopefully I helped you out by doing this the wrong way. We'll see you later.
Thanks for watching D.I.Y. Automotive School. Classes don't stop till you know